The tiny spider hangs, black against the white tile of my shower, a droplet of water glistening in her web to higher ground. If Lona were a better cleaning lady, the spider would have been asphyxiated by pine saw, her fragile path torn away by sponge. But Lona is not a better cleaning lady. Lona can no longer climb the steps. Sometimes a friend comes to help, but Lona no longer brings her granddaughter, Shayna. Pretty Shayna of Lona's and my own hopes. Shayna, whose high school teacher offered gushing praise about colleges she could never afford. Shayna dropped out, an older man, Lona told me one day, eyes down, returning the small velvet bag she found in Shayna's room that held the few pieces of my jewelry Shayna had not yet sold. My mother's pearls gone, the white gold wedding band pawned. I dwell on the losses, the creamy strand against my mother's dark Sunday best, the pale gold ring sold for someone else's dream of ever after. From the velvet bag, a fine gold chain spills upon my palm, tangled like my little girl's curls under Lona's patient comb. That child would sit still for Lona, just as I had sat long ago for Esther. I recite to Lona my litany of demands for Shayna, a return of all she had sold, a short amnesty before a police report for the insurance claim, her banishment from my home. But I knew that I could not manage another goodbye. Let's you and me go on, I say to Lona's bowed head, and so we did. Lona stayed as she had years before, even after I called her one evening, frustrated to miss a meeting, upset when she failed to show up to babysit my children she helped raise. Why didn't you come like you said you would, I had said, angry, almost tearful. I was counting on you. I scolded her answering machine. When she returned from the hospital after her stroke, her right side now dragging, my message must have still been on that machine, my impatience blinking red. But Lona never said. By the time my children were old enough to no longer need her care, Lona still needed work and the occasional loan for herself, her other grandchildren, and I suspected Shayna. She could help with the house and laundry, she said, and so a few times a month I returned from work to a tidier house that smells of pine, a reminder of her loving hand with my children. We remember each other's birthdays, and on holidays there is something extra. She struggles with how to keep her family afloat. I struggle with my aimless guilt. She says nothing about years of raising my children and the gaps she filled that I didn't. I say nothing about the unpaid and forgotten loans, uneven effort, unattended corners. Most days I find a way to call it even, but I may never know whether she does too. When I close my eyes, Lona dissolves into Esther. Esther, who laughed and playfully shook her iron at me when I sassed. Esther, who took my own yellow bangs under control with her soft bristled brush. From our station wagon when I was 8, my hair in the wind, Mama and Esther had seemed to me like repeating medians on the 4-lane highway that was 29, equal in length and grassy green, stretching down the middle of my long childhood road. Mama, Esther, Mama, Esther, Mama, Esther. As I rinse my hair and shut off the shower, the spider climbs up to higher ground. I leave her to her climbing, spared for all of that.